we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. That's a direct order. Do it now.
He's been put down, ripped off, cut open. Now, he's unleashed. The American insurgency starts now. This is Rusty Humphries, Rebellion Radio.
Well, hello and welcome. My brother from another mother, how are you? My sister from another mister. Hello, welcome. My name is Rusty Humphries. This is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. Now, join me. I'm going to share this video out because a lot of people need to see this one. This is an important one, okay? We need to make sure everybody sees this. So if you would please share this to your friends. Share this out there because coming up in just a couple of moments, we're going to talk with Buzz Patterson. Buzz is the guy that carried the nuclear football for Bill Clinton. And I just saw something on his Facebook feed, which got me on here to get him moments ago, that is shocking about what Bill Clinton did and did not do with the nuclear football. It's scary. It is scary, my friend. So please share the video right now. And also, would you please check in? Where are you a deplorable from? It is so important to let us know who you are and where you're from. And I'll say hi to you coming up in just a couple of minutes. I want to make sure everybody has that there because Buzz Patterson, again, is an American hero. He is a guy that has done so much for our country. And most importantly, though, this is a guy that tried to expose the Clintons when a lot of people wouldn't do that. So let's see here. Let me make sure I got to dial his number again. I have to dial him right here with you. How are you, by the way? Let's see who's there. Did I freeze? There we go. We're not freeze. Peter's there in Greensboro, North Carolina. Janet is checking in. Hi, Janet. How are you? Sorry, I'm not looking at everybody right now. I have to dial the number. It was all ready to go, and then moments before the show started, things went kablooey. So let me just get this number. Here we go. Dut, dut, dut. Dut, dut, dut. 8662. Sorry about that. All right, let's see if I can get him. Let's call right now. Oh, now why am I getting Orson Scott Card? I don't want that. I love Orson Scott Card, but that's not the number I'm looking for. Let's try this. Anyway, how are you today? Let's see here. Good evening. John is in St. John's. Reese is there. I apologize that I have to do it this way, but sometimes if I don't, then it really messes things up. And today is one of those days where a lot of things happen in the news. And let's get right to this. Here we go.
Hi, this is Buzz.
Hey, Buzz, it's Rusty Humphries. We're live on the air. How are you?
Fantastic, Rusty. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's been a long time since we've talked. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, we're just plugging along. I actually left the flying commercial airlines for Delta last year to get back into doing this thing full-time, writing and speaking, and working on a new book, and I got a new website out there where I'm blogging every single day, so life is good.
I saw something on your Facebook feed just a couple of minutes ago, and I instantly reached out to you, and I should have been doing this before. But is today the anniversary of Clinton finding out about Monica, or what is the story here?
Yeah, today, 20 years ago today, Rusty, was when those of us who knew what was happening behind the scenes in the White House, it had not hit the mainstream press. And 20 years ago today, Matt Drudge released it on the Drudge Report. And at that point in time, all hell broke loose. So the Washington Post picked it up, ABC News picked it up, and I was the first person on President Clinton's schedule that next morning after it hit the press. And we knew at that point in time, he knew at that point in time he had been caught. His affair that had been going on for a couple years was unraveling, and that's the beginning of the end for him in terms of the impending impeachment.
Did you know about Monica before we all did? I mean, you were there, right?
I did, Rusty, only because I had gotten there early in 1996, taken over from my predecessor, and I noticed this young female intern who had very peculiar Oval Office access. In the White House, depending on how close you get to the president and the first lady, you wear a lapel pin. And she was the only intern that I noticed was frequently in the Oval Office, West Wing area. And I asked the Secret Service guys very early on, what was up with that? Why was she allowed to get that close to the president? And they said, kind of in hushed tones, well, you don't want to go there. That's kind of a presidential best friend type thing going on, and just leave it alone. And I started noticing her around more and more often, Rusty. And then, of course, 2 years, about a year and a half later, the whole thing broke.
Is that right? Buzz, for some reason, can you hold 1 second here? Stay here with me because it looks like we had a little bit of a problem. Facebook, as soon as you start talking, all of a sudden Facebook shuts down. So let's see if I can reset this thing very quickly. I don't know what happened. We're still here, and let's see if we can get back on. And let's see. It says can't publish, verify. Okay, I will turn this. And I apologize. For some reason, if Liberty,
that doesn't surprise me, Rusty. It's that kind of thing happens with Facebook.
Isn't it interesting? As soon as I mention you, all of a sudden, and I've not had this problem like this in a long, long time. So I'm going to try to reset. I'm authenticating myself, resetting everything. We're going to try to go live again, and okay, I think we're back live again, and if you're just joining me, I'm sorry. I'm on with Buzz Patterson, and Buzz is the guy that carried the nuclear football for Clinton, and everything was going fine until Buzz came on, and then all of a sudden, all of my video streams went down, and I find that very fascinating, Buzz.
Yeah, that kind of thing has been happening, Rusty, more and more frequently with me. I mean, I've been shadow banned on Twitter a few times, and my website's been attacked a few times, and of course my Facebook accounts as well. They come and go also. So I'm not really sure who's monitoring what we're saying, but I'm sure that it's probably the Twitter and Facebook folks in charge that are trying to interrupt what we're talking about.
Okay, so let's for folks who are just joining us, your job was you carried the nuclear football for Bill Clinton, correct?
That's correct. I was the senior military aide in the White House from 1996 to 1998 as an Air Force officer. Was responsible for carrying the nuclear football, the black satchel that accompanies President Clinton no matter where he went, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And as such, Rusty, I had a bedroom in the White House and an office in the White House. It was by his side for 2 years.
Wow, okay. Did you like him as a guy?
Off record, off camera, when he wasn't being presidential, he was kind of fun to be around, very gregarious. We would jog together in the mornings. We would go to the golf course together in the afternoons. And I tell people the kind of guy you want to have over to your house for a barbecue, but you want to keep him away from your wife or your daughter. One of those kind of guys.
Okay. So then 20 years ago today, Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. Also, that same 20 years ago today was the day that Bill Clinton found out about Monica Lewinsky. Well, he knew about Monica Lewinsky, just we didn't know Monica Lewinsky, right?
That's right. Those of us in the White House close to the president were aware. It had been kept, a really close-held secret for quite a while. And then 20 years ago today was when Matt Drudge actually, he stumbled across it and released it. And it became, the next big scandal in the Clinton administration. Then it happened 20 years ago tonight.
Right, and that was one of the things that a lot of people don't remember if they were, 20 years ago, that was a long time. Matt Drudge wasn't the one that found it. This was a spiked story, wasn't it?
Yes, Newsweek actually, ironically, Rusty found it, and they sat on it. They knew about it a couple of months prior, and it all came about because, if you recall, during those months in that year, the Paula Jones testimony was going on, and I was at the Paula Jones testimony with President Clinton. And during the testimony from Kenneth Starr's office and with President Clinton's attorneys present also, Ken Starr's office had discovered Monica Lewinsky and a few other ladies that were involved with President Clinton. And during the testimony, President Clinton was asked about Monica Lewinsky, and he lied about her. So Newsweek had that. They knew what was going on, and they sat on it. So probably for a couple months. Now, Drudge uncovered it, and toward the end of December of 1997, early 1990, 8, he uncovered it, and of course, being Drudge, he went right to press with it, and that's when the rest of the big media had to go ahead and fess up and release it.
Okay, so my question to you, Buzz, is okay. You're the first one that saw him, right?
That morning, after the story came out the night before, and that morning I was on his schedule, the first person on his schedule, Rusty, that morning at 7 a.m. in the Oval Office. I came in to give him his normal military briefing, ask him if he had any questions about the nuclear football, nuclear codes, those kind of things. And I realized as I was walking in the Oval Office that it had been released that night before, and that I walked in to see him as the first person that morning with his head in his hands behind the Oval Office desk, looking like he'd been up all night long, obviously blanched and red-eyed, and he knew he had been caught.
Mm-hmm. Obviously upset about it. What happened? I mean, hey, Buzz, well, they caught me with Monica. I mean, he didn't say that.
No, I realized what was. I walked in knowing what was happening, and I realized he wasn't in a good mood or a good position to talk about military type stuff. Mm-hmm. So I asked him if I could come back later, and he said yes. I realized it wasn't a good time to be with you, Mr. President. And I said, and I happened to ask Rusty. This is also the thing, coincidentally, I talk about in dereliction of duty. Was I was really there to confirm that he had the nuclear codes and to answer any questions he might have about the nuclear process. And that's when we discovered that morning that he had, in fact, lost the nuclear codes in conjunction with the Monica Lewinsky thing hitting the press.
Okay, now that's something I did not remember in the book. I didn't remember the story, and I saw that on Facebook, and that was the part that really, really freaked me out. You're telling me Bill Clinton lost the nuclear codes?
He did, and it had never happened before. Rusty, going back, the nuclear codes actually go back to John F. Kennedy in the early 1960s with the advent of nuclear weapons. And John F. Kennedy realized we needed to have a military aid and nuclear codes by the president's side, no matter where he was. And President Clinton infamously became the first president to ever lose those. And what was telling to me in a negative way, Rusty, was the fact that when I discovered that he had lost the codes, he couldn't recall how long it had been. And I asked him, I pressed him, I said, has it been a matter of days or weeks or months? And he could not remember. Now, we never did find them, and that had never happened before, so I called the Pentagon, and they were incredulous, obviously, but we had to recreate the codes in a very matter of few hours. And, again, President Clinton's his outlook and his priority was making sure that information not make it to the press, on top of the Monica Lewinsky story. And I told him I wouldn't talk about the story in the press, and I didn't until I retired from the Air Force and wrote dereliction of duty.
So, Buzz, here's what I don't know what I did. I lost the pass. I lost the codes. Just don't tell anybody, okay? Can you do that for me, buddy? Is that basically what the conversation was?
That's pretty much how it went down. We at the time he said he thought they might be upstairs in the residence, so we did a thorough search of the White House residence and the grounds, and never did find them. And at that point,
them damn nuclear codes, I thought I had them in my coat pocket. I mean, how do you lose those?
You don't. And he was kind of careless, because what he would do was he kept his nuclear codes. They're kind of a credit card sized document, and the military has nicknamed them the biscuit, because you break them open to read a series of numbers and letters, which authenticates the president to the Pentagon as being the actual commander-in-chief. And so he normally had kept those rubber banded to his credit cards. He didn't wear a wallet, so he kept his credit cards rubber banded to the nuclear codes in his pants pocket. So we thought maybe they were still upstairs attached to the credit cards, and they weren't. So, and again, surprisingly, he could not recall the last time he had seen them. So we don't know, Rusty.
Well, and we don't know and we don't know how many hands were in those pants pockets either.
That's exactly right. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, we researched everywhere. We don't know if it had been days, weeks, or months that the commander-in-chief, the president, did not have the ability to either launch nuclear weapons or respond with nuclear weapons, and that was to me was dereliction of duty.
Why is that not a big story still? I mean, how do you have his wife run for president, and that's not a story? They lost the nuclear codes on top of everything else that she did.
That's a good point, because actually, I wrote my book in 2003, and then retired chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Hugh Shelton, wrote a book after he retired in 2006 or 2007, and said the exact same thing, that he was there when all that went down, and it was a big deal. And the Democratic Party and the White House at the time wanted to, hush it up And of course, the press, being the press, gave the Clintons a pass and didn't talk about it. It did come up a little bit when she was running for the office a year and a half ago, but it never got the play from ABC, NBC, or CBS. It got a lot of play on conservative blogs and talk shows like yourself, but it never got the play in the mainstream media because they didn't want it to affect Hillary's potential election as our commander-in-chief.
All right, let me ask you a tough question here, and I know you want to be with your family, and you stepped aside for a minute, so I'm not going to hold you much longer, but I sure appreciate it. But somebody has written on here, let me go back. It says, Sam wrote, Bill was doing coke in the White House, but they won't tell that. Was President Clinton doing coke in the White House? Did you ever see it? And would you tell people if you had or hadn't?
I would definitely tell people if I had. I never had that. I never saw him doing that. I saw him overly indulge in alcohol. I believe that there were several times when he was taking especially going to hurt himself. He hurt his knee down at Greg Norman's compound, and we had to fly him back to Bethesda for knee surgery. And he was on some painkillers there for a while. I think he might have been abusing those as well. But I never saw him using cocaine. I did see him on occasion getting a little bit too tipsy and also probably taking painkillers that might have affected his judgment over those years. But no cocaine use that I ever saw.
A lot of people accuse them of taking people out. You know, they call Hillary Killery and stuff. I see that on my feed. Do you think that's overdone, or do you think there could be some very nasty shenanigans there?
You know, I've been asked that question several times, Rusty. My opinion and my philosophy is that where there's smoke, there's fire. There's been far too many coincidental deaths or mishaps associated with the Clintons going back to Little Rock and the governor's mansion.
How about the latest? The guy
Rock.
that from Haiti was supposed to testify against the Clinton Foundation like this week, and he just showed up dead, right?
Exactly. And, you know, I'm kind of actually a little bit surprised. I'm still walking around, to be honest with you. But, you know, I think there's some truth to that. I got to the White House right after the Vince Foster suicide / murder thing went down, and I can't tell you to be 100% sure what happened there. I will tell you, though, Rusty, that I talk about this in dereliction also, is that those files that were removed from Vince Foster's office were in the possession of Hillary Clinton for my entire 2 years at the White House. So I knew that she had those files, and the only person that could actually access those files was Hillary Clinton.
All right, Buzz Patterson. One more thing, I'll let you go. I remember from the book, Bill Clinton before, I was obsessed with Osama bin Laden. I was obsessed. I would stay up night after night thinking about Osama bin Laden. And I remember there's a story where you were being told, tell President Clinton, we've got him in our sights, right?
That's right. I was in the National Security Command Center in the basement of the West Wing of the White House, and this was back in 1998. We had bin Laden identified. We had a group of CIA and special military operators for the United States on the ground surrounding his compound. We had very accurate and real-time intelligence of about 2 hours. We had to take the shot within 2 hours.
And by the way, this is before September 11th. Most of us had never heard of Osama bin Laden. Correct?
Yeah, but we knew about him in the White House because we had been tracking him going back to 1996, and we knew about the plot that eventually became 9/11 back as far as 1996. So we were watching bin Laden, we were tracking him on a satellite phone. We knew who he was. We knew he was a bad guy, and this is right prior to the embassies being bombed and the American embassies being bombed in Tanzania and Kenya in 98. So we had a chance to take out bin Laden or take him into custody. And in my time there, at least 8 chances, Rusty, we got a chance to either kill him or capture him. And Bill Clinton simply couldn't be bothered. And I personally hold 9/11. I hold Bill responsible for 9/11. And I think if we had taken care of business back in 96, 97, 98, we would never have had that.
Why do you think he wouldn't pull the trigger? Is it that he was busy picking up chicks, or he didn't think it was that big of a deal, or politically he thought it'd be bad? Any guesses there?
Yeah, I do. And I talk about this in a couple of my books. I think he was risk averse when it came to being a commander-in-chief. He was more concerned with his domestic legacy and his potential reelection in 96. He didn't want to do anything that might go down in a negative direction. He was more concerned about being reelected and being the popular president than he was stepping out and making a command decision to go after the bad guys. And I think he was much more comfortable with hugging babies and doing domestic type stuff, and he was very uncomfortable, and probably still would be to this day, running our military or national security. He never really grasped the importance of the military or national security. He never really accepted that responsibility or role, and he was just very uncomfortable with it.
I was very comfortable hugging babies and hugging babes, if you know what I mean. There, Buzz.
Exactly.
All right, give me the website.
Exactly.
Okay, your book's first of all, Dereliction of Duty, a fantastic book. I remember that one. It's one that's still. I mean, I see the Clintons and I think of your book. What you had another book as well, correct?
I've actually written 3 more since then.
Wow.
I've got a second book called Reckless Disregard. It was also a New York Times bestseller. And my most recent one's called Conduct Unbecoming. It's about the Obama presidency and the many ways that he actually exceeded Bill Clinton in damaging our military and national security. And all those books are available on Amazon. They're still doing quite well. And I've got a website that people can follow me on, brand new website where I'm blogging daily. It's called buzzpatterson.live. I do some live stuff. I do there's some tape presentations, and but there's also a daily blog, and people can contact me through that site. And
we will definitely have you back on Buzz Patterson Live. Buzz, I know you got stuff to do. Thank you so much for coming on this 20-year anniversary of you catching, you walking in on Bill Clinton with his hands in his face over Monica Lewinsky, and God bless you for your service to our country, and thanks for being a friend. I appreciate you.
You betcha, Rusty. I value our friendship. I'll be hoping to be talking to you again soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Go do your thing with your family. Thanks, Buzz. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks, Rusty.
Bye-bye. All right, that's Buzz Patterson, and a great man. And do me a favor, would you please? Share this video right now. Thumbs ups and shares. Comments. Do you believe Buzz Patterson? Or do you think he's a big fat liar? Mark says he wasn't there at all, is what I think. He's in La La Land. Really? What do you think of that picture? We got all kinds of pictures of Buzz Patterson with the Clintons. We know you may not like what he just said, but we know for a fact he was indeed the guy that carried the nuclear football. That's not something you can make up. Okay? That's just, it's a fact. Okay? You may not like what he had to say, but it's what happened. So do me a favor if you would right now. Please share this video. Share the video. We need people to see exactly what Buzz Patterson had to say. There's too many lies out there. Now, the beginning of this video, as I got Buzz Patterson on the show, somehow magically it got shut off on Facebook. Magic. Don't know how that happened. I have not had that happen in weeks and weeks and weeks. And by the way, it was right as Buzz Patterson came on. Now, maybe that was a coincidence. The coincidence is that, boy, magically, whenever the truth like this gets out about Clintons or the Democrat Party, magically the computer shuts down. Facebook doesn't put it out enough. Twitter doesn't know what we're talking about. It doesn't want to get seen. Well, guess what? You can make a difference. You share this video like you've never shared a video before in your life. You let people know. Do you want to know the truth about the Clintons? Buzz Patterson just said it. Now, again, why does it matter about the Clintons? What difference at this point does it make? She's not even president. The Clintons ran the Democrat Party. The Clintons tried to lie, cheat, and steal to get Hillary in as president. They fixed the election against Bernie Sanders. Not that I think he would have won, but they did. They ran the finances of the DNC. And then used their powerful people in offices to spy on their opponent, Donald Trump. And then when Donald Trump won the election, they weaponized government officials, bureaucrats that are not supposed to be political at all. They weaponized them to go against the incoming president. Under Obama, they weaponized the DOJ. Under Obama, they weaponized the IRS. And God knows what they would have done had that evil, evil woman gotten the power that she so desperately wanted. I'm curious on your thoughts. Let's see here. Let me read. By the way, have you checked in yet? Please do. Let me go back a little bit. A lot of comments so far. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Usha says Clinton was too busy chasing skirts. He didn't care much about anything. Bren says, I believe. Mary said, blah, blah, blah. Herman says, Joe does not like people breaking the law. He does something besides talk about it. He's not kissing criminal hands. I guess you're talking about Joe Arpaio, maybe? Could be. Marie says, yay, Buzz. Charlotte says, crooked Killeries and Bill the Buffoon. Brian says, Buzz rocks through those haircut rocks. Jojo says, amazing how much damage they've done to the country, and then followed by Obama. Betty's glad he told the truth. Me too. It's been amazing to watch. Yesterday, we talked about it after it happened, but all of those idiot so-called journalists, how crazy they were, how these libtard journalists, how excited they were to try to expose that Donald Trump was really sick. Donald Trump had problems. Again, it's all connected because these dumbasses, and they are dumbasses, these dumbasses actually the ones that thought Hillary Clinton should win. These are the ones that wanted to put corruption into the White House. And then when we put somebody in there that wasn't corrupt, they're going to do everything they can to try to corrupt him. Did you watch the libtards yesterday? Oh, were they out in force? Let's take a listen to this.
Can you assess the president's mental fitness for office?
The president appeared to slur his words while giving an address. Did you look into what the cause of that might have been at all?
Are you ruling out things like early onset Alzheimer's? Are you looking at dementia-like symptoms?
On what basis would you, and this is just a philosophical question, advise the cabinet that the president is unable to discharge his duties? How does that bar get met?
When you analyze his cognitive ability or his neurological functions, that is not the same thing as a psychiatric exam or a psychological exam.
It is not.
You mentioned that you gave the president a cognitive test. Was that the mini mental state examination or the Boltzmann test? Or if not, can you tell us what specific cognitive test you gave?
Given that there's scrutiny of what was overlooked at the time with President Reagan in terms of Alzheimer's and things he was then known to suffer from at a later date. Can you say that whether the test that you ran would exclude any of those things?
The president's age in continuing his physicals in the future, will you also continue the cognitive testing?
You say that the president was the one who requested the cognitive test, that it wasn't necessarily needed for someone of his age. Did he tell you why he wanted it done?
What is your take of all the doctors and clinicians all across the country who have said that in this president they see symptoms of this, that, and the other?
Symptoms in what way?
Well, symptoms of dementia.
Do you keep a tally of how much golf the U.S. president plays?
Some of the president's friends have told reporters in the past that they think he's a germaphobe, that he washes his hands obsessively and is concerned about that. Have you seen any indication of that type of behavior?
Okay, you know what? Enough. I called for this yesterday, and I call for it again. Any Democrat in Congress that now follows the same line of questioning that the media just did, that Donald Trump is crazy, that he has mental problems, that Donald Trump should be impeached if we ever hear the 25th Amendment. Any one of those people that bring up those subjects, they should have to take the exact same test that Donald Trump took, and if they and their results must be released. Like, you want to talk about early onset Alzheimer's, and by the way, not so early, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has had a lot of problems lately, but yet never hear anything. Shh, it's Nancy Pelosi. She's okay. No, it's not okay. Enough's enough with Nancy Pelosi. Enough's enough with Chuck Schumer. Enough's enough with these idiots. Bill asks, what happened to people being patriotic? This is our government, our nation, our president. Yes. And what happened? I don't know. We have way, way, way too many people in government worried about their own pocketbooks and worried about what they can or can't get from you and me. Well, you know what? I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of them. I want to see all of them gone. And that's what the government class never understood. That's what the liberals never understood. It's not that we love Donald Trump. It's not that he was the greatest guy in the world, the most moral guy in the world. We wanted somebody that would go in there and say, I don't care about you. I don't care about your money. I want to do something right for the real people. That's what I wanted. Isn't that what you wanted? And then, every day they're coming out with something else. Trump is a racist. By the way, the worst thing you can call somebody in today's world is a racist. So that's why they're going to throw the racist word out there. That's why the whole DACA thing is back in the news. The idea of trying to show that Donald Trump is a racist, that Republicans are racist, that we're all a part of the KKK, the Klan, we're all a part of these hate groups, and none of it's true, because they want to get the base and the people that don't pay a lot of attention emotionally charged. Fear writes checks. That's what politicians tell everybody behind the scenes. Fear writes checks. Yesterday I talked about the Hegelian dialectic, and I talked about the two most powerful emotions, pain and pleasure. Pain also has fear in it. And the pleasure, some people, feeling bad feels good. But one way to get rid of the fear is to have the pleasurable act of writing a check to a political candidate. That's what all of this is about. It's about getting money for the Democrat Party and trying to scare people. And now they're using all the guns. They're using Twitter with the shadow following. Facebook is doing everything they can to silence people like me, which is why you need to engage, which means you need to comment, you need to write. On this page right now, you need to share these videos. I'm here every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. And the other thing you need to do to have a backup in case we get shut down, and that can happen at any time. I had a friend get kicked off Facebook for 3 days for a picture of a cat. Picture of a cat. I want you to follow me on a different app because I don't trust these people. I trust this app. It's called HearMeOut. The HearMeOut app. Please follow me there. It's free. You can download it on your smartphone, whether it's iPhone or an Android. Wherever you get your apps, type in HearMeOut. Download it. It's free. Look for me, Rusty Humphries. And I made a mistake. I typed Rusty Humphries in one long string. So it sometimes doesn't pop up. So do hashtag Rusty or do Rusty Humphries combined. And then you'll find me. And follow me. And I give comments and thoughts throughout the day. But also, we need a backup in case the Zuck decides to tell us to go away. Okay? That's the truth. Now, while the Democrats want to push fear and loathing and hatred, I saw this online. And to me, it shows emotions of pride and of patriotism. I saw this video and I want to share it with you because it was gorgeous. These 3 girls singing. Have you heard this? Join me. Listen to this in the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
Absolutely beautiful. Great job, ladies. And they look like they're in about junior high school or something, and or maybe high school. And I remember when I used to sing in groups like that, not girl groups, but I got to sing the national anthem twice at Seattle Mariners game. Wasn't that good, though. Those girls are great. And that's the kind of stuff we need to be pushing, you know? We got too many people out there, hey, let's do the Tide Challenge. Isn't that cool? No. You're an idiot. A future Democrat voter, if you ask me. Hey, dude, we're smoking Tide, man. The good thing for me, and this is one thing that makes me feel happy as a parent, is that I don't have to worry about my daughter getting involved in that Tide Challenge because it has something to do with her getting near laundry. So I... Oh, boy. Lindsey Grahamnesty, not that long ago, talking, he called Mexico a hellhole. Yeah, bring that video up? Yeah, I don't know if you saw this one. Should we shut down the government, by the way? Does it bother you? It doesn't bother me one bit. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I want to share with you a little something. Lindsey Grahamnesty, the guy who is always out front. What can he do to make Republicans look bad? What can he do to make President Trump look bad? Him and his buddy John McCain. And by the way, Jeff Flake out there speaking out against President Trump. Oh, he's like Stalin. What are you talking about, you dumbass? I'm from Arizona, so I can call him. He's my senator, dumbass. Senator, dumbass. Trump hasn't killed 20 million people. Trump hasn't been a dictator. Just because he bested you, Jeff Flake, and then, magically in the same day, my friend, John McCain, whack, 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 I'm John McCain, hey. He puts out a op-ed, which I'm sure he didn't even, I know he didn't write it. I doubt he even read it. But these two Arizona rhinos, and I want to apologize as a citizen of Arizona for foisting those two idiots upon you. And I'm going to do everything I can to help remove those guys from office. But let's play a little bit from 2013, Lindsey Graham talking quickly about Mexico.
That's what I would say. We have a Canadian border. I don't know how many fences we have along our Canadian border. If we have any, I don't know about it. I don't know how many security people we have along the Canadian border. I doubt it's 21,000.
By the way, we have quite a bit. We don't have a fence. I've spent a lot of time on the Canadian border. We have virtual fences where if you sneak across the border, believe me, we're going to catch you in a lot of places. But we don't have a fence. One of the reasons is because we don't have thousands of people trying to stream across the border every day from Canada. Let's continue. Thank you, Lindsey Grahamnesty.
Why are we okay up there and not okay to the south? The tale of two borders. Why is one a problem and the other's not? Because Canada is a place where people like to stay. They like Canada. We like Canada. We love to have them visit. They want to go home because it's a nice place.
Got good maple
syrup. People coming across the southern border live in hellholes. They don't like that. They want to come here. Our problem is we can't have everybody in the world who lives in a hellhole coming to America. If you
Lindsey Grahamnesty, why aren't you a big part of this debate now? Where the heck are you? Why is it that Donald Trump's got to do this pretty much on his own? And this whole idea, well, you know, we're going to shut down the government. Hi, I'm a Democrat, and I think that we should shut down the government if we can't help illegal immigrants, because it's not fair, I say. It's not fair. Hi, I'm Lefty Rusty. I'm one of the Democrats. Hi. Well, Lefty Rusty, I'll tell you what. Democrats, if you want to shut down the government over illegal immigrants, do it. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. If you're gonna do it right. Do it. A little dancing. Now, Republicans are concerned. They're scared to death because they are, what's the word? I'm trying to think. Cowardly. That's right. They have no idea how to fight back, and they fall victim to the Hegelian dialectic all the time, which is, of course, again, big charge, you're a racist. And then the anti-charge, I'm not a racist. Yes, you are. You're a big racist. And then to fight back, they assume what the other side says. Okay, to prove I'm not a racist, I'll fight for amnesty with you. And then this guy wins. The left hand. And we fall for it time and 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 time again. And then, like under Obama, when the government shut down, remember what they did? What Obama did? Oh, it was evil. That evil bastard. They made it so that veterans couldn't visit the World War II memorial in D.C. They made it so that there's no fence at the Grand Canyon, which is just about 100 miles from my house, and I still have only been there once. I need to go back. They shut down the Grand Canyon. Why did they do this? Did they have to do this to shut down the government? No! It's what the Democrats do. They want to make it as uncomfortable as possible for people that aren't paying that much attention to think that, whoa, the federal government, they do all these things. And then the poor federal government employees, they're not going to make money. And then old people, they're not going to get their Social Security checks. Okay, let's tell you the truth. If government shuts down, you're on Social Security, you'll still get your check. Don't worry. The government bureaucrats, what will happen for them is they will be off of work. Some of the offices will be closed, and then they'll get the back pay because we can never allow the Democrat employees to go without their money. Right? These parks and things, they can stay open. The Republicans are going to not do what Democrats did. And it's the right thing. So it is just silly that the Democrats really, really, really want to fight for more rights for illegal immigrants than they want rights for you and me. And the question I have is what is the benefit of being an American citizen now that you can't have as an illegal immigrant? Well, voting. Don't tell me illegal immigrants don't vote. Of course they do. Why do you think Democrats treat illegal immigrants like a voting bloc? Because they are a voting bloc. Anything else that's interesting today? Do you think they're going to shut down the government? Does it bother you if they do? Not me. Not me one bit. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it go down. I'd like to see the federal government. Again, I don't want to see the government go out of business. But I would like to see the government shrink the size and scope. Okay, one more thing before I go, and that is Trump has announced the fake news stories or fake news organizations of the year. He's got, I'll show you here, this just came out just a little while ago. Trump announces that the number of the winners of the 2017 Fake News Awards, New York Times' Paul Krugman claimed on the day of President Trump's historic landslide victory that the economy would never recover. And, of course, it's at all-time highs. Number 2, ABC News' Brian Ross chokes and sends markets in a downward spiral with a false report. ABC demotes Brian Ross after bungled report on Trump-Russia. Number 3, CNN falsely reported that candidate Donald Trump and his son, Donald J. Trump, had access to hacked documents from WikiLeaks. Number 4, Time falsely reported that President Trump removed a bust of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. Number 5, Washington Post falsely reported that the president's massive sold-out rally in Pensacola, Florida, was empty. Dishonest reporter showed picture of an empty arena hours before the crowd started showing in. That was Dave Weigel. There's some pictures there. Number 6, CNN falsely edited a video to make it appear like President Trump defiantly overfed fish during a visit with the Japanese Prime Minister, but the Japanese Prime Minister actually led the way with the feeding. Number 7, according to President Trump, CNN falsely reported about Anthony Scaramucci's meeting with a Russian, but retracted it due to significant breakdown in process. By the way, the mooch is not smart enough to meet with anybody else. The mooch was no brain surgeon. I said the mooch wasn't going to last a month. If you remember, and he lasted, 10 days? Number 8, Newsweek falsely reported that Polish First Lady Agata did not shake President Trump's hand. There's that. Number 9, CNN falsely reported that former FBI Director James Comey would dispute President Trump's claim that he was told he is not under investigation. Number 10, the New York Times falsely claimed on the front page that the Trump administration had hidden a climate report. Not true. And last but not least, the Russian collusion. Russian collusion is perhaps the greatest hoax perpetrated on the American people. There is no collusion, says Donald Trump. All right, do you agree with those? What do you think of that list? I think it's pretty good. Not a bad job there, Mr. President. Thank you for and I love Jeff Flake, again from Arizona. Oh, President Trump is going after the press, and that's something like Hitler or Stalin would do. You're a dumbass, Jeff Flake. I'm going to say it again. You are a dumbass. It's not like we have an honest media. If we had an honest media and President Trump didn't have to do that, I would be on the side of the media. I'm on the media. I mean, I'm in the media. I just want the truth to be told. This whole thing where we're just going to make stuff up, it's just not right. Mistakes happen. I'll say that. But not as many mistakes as the left would like you to believe. All right, do me a favor. Would you share this video? Would you let people know that the truth is out there every night, 9 p.m. in the 6 p.m. in the West, here on Right Wing News and Liberty One Television and some other great Facebook pages? Share this video. Teach Zuckerberg a lesson. Go around him. We need the hearts and the thumbs ups and in the comments. Your interaction and the shares are so important. That's how we go around these SOBs in the big time social media giants. This is how we teach them a lesson. And the only way to do it is if you do it for me. I can only share so much. I need you to share the video as well. Please tell people about it and show up every night if you would, please. Another way, would you please follow me on the HearMeOut app? Just get it on your phone, download it on your phone, and it's not hard to do. Find me, Rusty Humphries, on there and follow me. That's it. And if you record anything, do hashtag Rusty. I'll find you and take a listen to you. I like doing that. All right? I do appreciate you. I really do. This is a very, very difficult time to be in this job. And the only way we're going to survive is through your help. And I mean that. That's very, very serious. Thank you for watching. And again, share people the video. Let them know Buzz Patterson was on the 20th anniversary of Bill Clinton finding out that Monica Lewinsky leaked. That's it. May God bless you. And may God bless America. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.